No one likes studying. Honest to God, I don't think there is a single person on this planet who would have free time and think, oh God, why don't I go study maths? That'd be fun. If you are like that, you're a psychopath. I actually don't quote me on that. I'm sure there is a sad minority out there who likes studying, but still, psychopaths. But you and me, haha, we ain't one of them. So my little ass is here to maybe give you some advice and share some tips that help me study better and not fail essentially. One of the most important things you can do to help yourself study better is to pay attention in class. Yes, I swear to God, just pay attention in class and you'll go from like a 50 to a 70% without doing anything else. What I've noticed is that when I'm in class, I'll do literally anything to not do what I'm there for, which is like pay attention in class and do what the teacher is telling me to. I like asked to go to the toilet and roam around the school for like 20 minutes. Don't lie, you do it too. I would do all of this without actually listening to what the poor teacher was trying to teach. And if you have this habit, and I'm sure a ton of people do, try your best to break it. Listen to the teacher, understand concepts, ask questions where there are confusions, and make sure that you figure them out right then and there in class so that you don't have to worry about them later on. The teacher is there to help you. One of my teachers actually said that if a student asks something and says that they don't understand the concept that they just taught, they'll try even harder to make sure that everything is clear. Don't feel shy about asking questions in class. Your friends aren't gonna go there. You can hang out with them when you're free. And I know there's some sort of pleasure in being the rowdy bunch of the class. Trust me, I know. However, what will be helpful to you, as I've been saying, is focusing on the teacher's words. And you don't even have to jot down any notes, you just have to listen and understand the concepts that they're teaching. This way, when you go home and open your textbook, there won't be any confusion about what's been taught, and it'll like minimize your revision time significantly. Which leads me on to my next point, which is go through what you've studied in class that day when you're at home. When you go home, try to go through the textbook at least once, even if you think that your concepts are crystal clear. Teachers aren't going to teach you from the textbook like it's 8th grade. You have to take the initiative and get familiar with your textbook so that you don't have a heart attack when you have to open an unfamiliar resource when you're studying for your exams and you don't even know where to start studying from. While you're going through the textbook, make notes of any formulas, any definitions, anything that you'll need to memorize. And make sure that you're not writing down information that isn't necessary. I like to use one notebook that has different sections for each subject so that I don't have to carry tons of notebooks for making notes. Highlight, underline, use different colored pens, make the note making process enjoyable for yourself. Even though you can find tons of resources online, including notes for each subject, personalized notes are irreplaceable. You know yourself best and you know what kind of structure of notes is going to work best for you. Use that to your advantage. Number 4. Use multiple resources. In my case, I have 2 to 3 textbooks for each subject. Some textbooks are really good for when you're trying to make notes because they have highlighted all the important parts. That makes them easier to navigate, but you really have to explore multiple books and find out which layout you prefer the best. The information inside isn't going to be that different, but some textbooks are a headache to read because of their font or their editing style. Number 5. Solve the example questions in the book. As you go through the book and after you're done revising and making notes, you should go back to each subtopic and the questions they have underneath, the example questions and the review questions, and you should solve them because that's going to really strengthen your concepts. And if you don't understand something, in the example questions, they have the answers given below in the book. So that makes it easier to immediately point out which concept you lack in. The explanations of the solutions are usually very helpful in figuring out what you did wrong. Number 6. Search for practice and past paper questions. Especially for the science subjects, having clear concepts isn't enough. You need to make sure that you have a grasp on every type of question that has ever come in past papers. After all, there is only a limited number of ways the examiner can structure questions of the same topic. As long as you're confident in your understanding and you aren't getting practice questions wrong, you're good to go. Number 7. Make revision schedules before exams. For me, I try to make revision schedules like a month prior to midterms and at least 2 months before finals. That way you can condense every topic that you have and write it onto a piece of paper and divide it into the days that you have. and that makes the thought of studying really less overwhelming. This lets you set your own schedule. For me, I like to study at the most one topic per day, but I do try to make sure that I understand every single subtopic in that chapter so that the day before exams I can just open my notes and go through it once and I'm good to go. And that way you're not even overburdening yourself because you can still do whatever you want and have some fun when you're done with your revision schedule for that day. Number 8. Start doing assignments the moment they're assigned. Even if it's just a little bit at a time, try to get a feel for what you're gonna do for the assignment and make a rough outline. That way, even if you procrastinate till the day before the deadline, it's way less stressful because you know exactly what you have to do for the assignment.
Number 9. Make to-do lists.
I use Google Keep to make my to-do lists, and it's really simple to do. You can sync it with your laptop and phone, and I've added it as a widget to my phone so that whenever I open it, the to-do list is right there in my face, haunting me about the extended essay that I have to write. Number 10. Use Google Calendar. After I've written everything in my to-do list on Google Keep, I see if I can schedule it, and if I can, I add it to my Google Calendar. I also add that next to Google Keep as a widget on my phone. I just feel more organized that way, and it's easy to keep a track of the things that I have to do. Plus, the satisfaction of completing everything that you have to do a day ahead of schedule never hurts. Number 11. When you have to memorize stuff, write it down. I used this technique when I had to study for my DP1 psychology exam because you have to memorize a lot of researches for it. I would read the case once and then twice, and then read it out loud without looking at the paper, and then I'd write it down once, and if there was anything that I missed, I'd repeat the steps until I got it right. Number 12. Get cute stationery. Now this is a big personal preference, so if right off the bat you think this doesn't apply to you, then you can skip to the next point. But for me, I get Cute Stationery and I want to use that stationery. But on the other hand, I also have to study physics. So you can put those together and I can study physics with my Cute Stationery. Number 13. Don't let other people stress you out. Okay, one thing that peeves my pet the most is when one person is stressing really bad about an exam and they unintentionally transfer that stress to you, so now you getting stressed about the exam without any reason, even if you studied well. That one person who's literally sweating out of their eyeballs, or were they crying? I don't remember. But there's always that one person who thinks that if they don't get 100% on their exam, they're gonna be the family disappointment. And honestly, that person usually gets a pretty decent grade, if not the highest. And I don't know if they do this just to stress other people out or shit. I'm not an anxious person by nature. I rarely feel the stress of exams. Okay, that's not true. I cried once before my history exam because I thought I was gonna fail, but that's like
that you want.
But that can be forgiven because I'm a STEM person and we don't do history, man. But anyways, I've matured since then, okay? I've realized that stressing over submissions and deadlines and exams is a literal waste of time and brain cells that could have been used trying to get over the cause of that stress. And honestly, after I started just caring less about whether I was gonna fulfill a task before their deadline, I've realized I rarely have leftover work to do before the deadline. And honestly, this point was just a big fuck you to all those little shits that cry before exams and make me feel heartless because I don't feel the stress. Number 14. Don't get discouraged. And at the end of the day, the IB or A-levels or high school is designed for teenagers like you. They aren't gonna teach us PhD level stuff, so don't underestimate your potential. Your strengths may lie in one specific subject, but that just goes to show that you are smart and you're not less than anyone else in your class. Figure out the way you learn best, not the way other people do, because you're not them. Some of the tips I mentioned in this video may not work for you, and that's okay because they're just what worked for me after I've spent a long time figuring them out. And the last and most important tip is prioritize your mental health. If you were looking for a reminder, this is it. Honestly, set a Google Calendar reminder for every week because you need someone telling you this. Nothing is more important than your sanity. And honestly, I don't even know why I need to say this, but some of you dumbasses out there feel like you can take on the whole world. Don't do that. If not for yourself, do it for your heart, for your brain, for your soul. Think of them as your friends. Would you watch your friends push themselves to the limit and burn out afterwards? Would you be okay with that? I don't know, I wouldn't be okay with that. So why do it to yourself? If you ever feel like your mental health may be on the verge of spiraling, just take a step back and take a breather. Don't force yourself to go on if you're feeling unwell. And in the end, you're the one who's gonna have to do all your work, all your assignments, finish all the deadlines, all your exams, not your teachers or your parents. And you're not gonna be able to do that if you're not mentally stable. Allow yourself a margin to de-stress and relax, whether that's for an hour or for a week. Do something fun, try out a new hobby, go for a jog, a swim, go paint something. Whatever you feel like doing. And when you're ready, then go back to your work. And those are all my tips for coping with the stress that comes with any type of degree, honestly. Just take things one at a time and do your best. And you will succeed.